All right, now for this video, you're taking notes in your packets, and your packet notes look like this, just so you know we're on page 8. And on page 8, there's only questions 7 through 11. And it's a little more fun for these types of questions if instead of you just taking notes with my boring handwriting, I've got all the questions here on a slides. So we're going to try this one this way, and you're just going to kind of take your own notes, and I can go back and forth between what my notes look like and these slides so that you can kind of make sure that you're taking the good notes. Now the first problem that you guys have is that for your birthday, your aunt gave you a $100 Amazon gift card. Sweet, nice, nice aunt. All right, cool. Now you spend 40% of it on a new case for your iPhone, and then you spent a fifth of what was left over buying candy. And we want to know what fraction of the gift card do you have left. So you start out with 100, you spend 40% of it on a new iPhone case, you spend a fifth of what was left buying candy, and I want to know how much you'll have on the gift card at the end of all that. So we're going to start out with the iPhone case, and 40% of the $100 gift card would be 0.40 times 100, so you probably want to write that down, 0.40 times 100, which means we spent $40 on the phone case. Now, the next thing you want to write down is that if you spent $40 on the case, now you only have $60 left on your gift card. So if you have $60 left on your gift card, now you're going to be spending a fifth of that on candy. Now, 1/5 as a percent is 20%, which is 0.20. So 0.20 times 60 in your calculator, 0.20 times 60 means we spent $12 on candy. So if we had 60 after the iPhone case minus the 12, because you spent it on candy, that means you're going to have $48 left on your gift card. Now, since it asks what fraction of the card do we have left, you can see that we have $48 left, and 48 out of 100, I have that here at the bottom, $48 left out of 100 would reduce to 12/25. Now, just to make sure we're okay, I want to show you guys here what that looks like, and let me cover up my other problems. There we go. So you see how I took the notes? We spent 40% of the 100, so 0.40 times 100 was 40 on the iPhone case. I subtracted that to see I have $60 left over. So now I spent a fifth on candy. So a fifth of 60, or 20% of 60, is $12 on candy. So 60 minus the 12 means we have $48 left. And we just did 48 over 100. And so the final answer here for this one reduced, it was 12/25 left over on the card. All right, cool. So now I'm going to come back to my slides, and we are on the next question, question 8 in your packets. So Mark owes his sister $15. He earned $20 from mowing the grass. He spent a fifth of his earnings on a box of Girl Scout cookies, and then he paid his sister. So he owes his sister $15. Okay, we can't forget that. Now he got $20 for mowing the grass and decided to treat himself by buying some cookies, and then he was able to pay his sister. All right, so let's take a look at the math, and we want to know how much does Mark have left for mowing the lawn. All right, so here's that problem you guys see in your packet. First thing we're going to do is take a fifth of the earnings, and that was spent on Girl Scout cookies. Now we know a fifth is 20%, and he made $20 mowing the lawn. So a fifth of that means he spent only $4 on a box of Girl Scout cookies. And a lot of you know that. Most boxes around here are like $4 for a box of cookies. So he spent a fifth of his money, or $4, on cookies, which means from mowing the lawn, he has $16 left over. Now remember, he has to pay his sister $15. So 16 minus the 15 he owes his sister. Unfortunately, Mark is only going to have $1 left. But that's okay, because at least now he's not in debt. He started out in debt. He started out owing his sister money. And he earned enough to buy himself some cookies and pay her, and still have $1 left over. Now again, just to make sure you guys are okay with how to take these notes in your packet, if you ever see the slides, here is how I have the notes for question 8. Remember, he earned 20 for mowing the grass, but then spent some of it on cookies. So he spent a fifth on cookies. So a fifth of 20 is on cookies. If we remove those $4, he only has 16 left over, and he has to pay his sister 15. So Mark is left with $1 at the end of all of that. All right, we are cruising. So we took care of the Mark problem, yay. All right, cool. So now here we are on question 9 in your packets. Sabrina won $200 in the lottery, and she spent 12 of it on a Father's Day gift. And she plans on giving a fourth of the remaining money to her brother. She's feeling real generous. So she's spending some money on dad, giving some money to her brother, and let's see how much money she'll have left over from her lottery winnings. So let's talk about the Father's Day gift. Remember, 12% went to the Father's Day gift. And 12% as a decimal is 0.12. So all you got to do in your calculators is multiply 0.12 times 200, and we can see that she spent $24 on a Father's Day gift. Now if we subtract that from her winnings, we can see she has $176 left over. Now she's going to give a fourth of that to her brother because she wants to share, because maybe she's thinking, well, the lottery, I won, I'm lucky, let me be nice and share to my bro so he won't be so annoying. So you guys know that a fourth is 25%, which is 0.25. So she's going to give 25% or 0.25 to her brother. And remember, she only had $176 left after the Father's Day gift. So now she gave 44 to her brother. Awesome. So she gave 44 to her brother. She'll have $132 left over at the end of all of that. And again, let's just make sure you're okay with the notes. Boop, here we go. So she spent 12% of 200 on a Father's Day gift. So she spent $24 for dad, which means she has $176 left over. She gives a fourth of it away. A fourth of that is 44. So if we subtract, we can see that Sabrina has $132 left over. All right, we are cruising. Now we are on number 10. Okay, so let me pop back over here. All right, so for number 10, there are 540 students in the 7th grade. It's a lot, you know. We have a little over 1,000 students here at Irving. All right, so we've got 540 students in the 7th grade. 15% are in algebra. Algebra is something that you have to qualify for in the 7th grade. I think most of you know that. We have a couple of 7th grade sections here. Like you can see, 15% of our students are already in algebra in 7th grade. 3/5 of them are in pre-algebra, which is an honors class. And the rest are in Math 7, which is your class. So we want to see how many students in the school are in Math 7, okay? So let's start out with those algebra students, okay? The 15% that have already qualified to take algebra, you can see there that there's 81 students total. That's 81 kids. Now, we also know 60% of the total student body, 3/5 of the total 7th graders right there, is 324 students. You can see that this problem's a little bit different than the other ones because I don't have to subtract anything right now. I don't have to subtract away 15% and say 3/5 of what's left over are in pre-algebra. No, 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 no. So that's why this one problem stands out a little bit. This one's kind of more like page 7, I would say, where you've got 15% of something, 3/5 of the same thing. And basically, we can just add up these kids right here and say, okay, I've got 81 plus 324. So I can see how many kids that is total. And then subtract it from the 540. And in fact, here's what we've done. So I start with the 540. I get rid of the 81 kids who are in algebra. I take away the 324 kids who are in pre-algebra. And that would be the chunk that's left over, the 135 who are in Math 7. Now I do have another strategy, kind of like the one from our last video. Take a look at this. This might be what some of you wanted to do for this problem, and it's a good strategy. It makes sense. If 15% are in algebra and 3/5 are in pre-algebra, we can add these together to say, okay, that's 75%. So if 75% are in these classes, the other 25% has to be in Math 7. And then you can easily say, okay, I'll do 0.25 times 540, and I'm going to get the same answer. If you watched the page 7 video, I'm going to go back to it to show you guys. This is when we talked about like taking a percent and adding it up and then using what was left over. It's that same concept as what you did on page 7 back for this problem with number 10. So I didn't want you to forget about problems like that when this is a good strategy. These other types of problems so far, 7, 8, and 9, these all involve subtraction because you spend something and then it's spent. It's not there anymore. And then you have to use the new amount every time as you keep going in your calculation, okay? So if you're spending money, you need to subtract it away before you do your second calculation. But for this type of problem, it's a lot like what you guys already know. You're just working with 15% algebra, 60% pre-algebra. So 25% must be what's added up total to get to 100% of the students in 7th grade. And again, that's just another method right there. All right, we are on the last problem here. And I'm going to switch back over to this slide. So farmer feeds his animals. And he feeds 13.3 pounds to horses. He feeds 4.4 pounds to his chickens. Looks like 7.2 pounds of food go to the pigs. And 12.4 pounds go to the cows. And what I just simply want to know is how many pounds of feed does the farmer feed his animals in total? So basically, if this much goes to horses, this much to chickens, this much to pigs, and this much to cows, how many pounds total is that? All right, well, 13.3 plus, and you can see I'm just converting them to decimals. 4.45, or sorry, 4 and 4 fifths is 4.8. 4 and 4 fifths is 4.8. 7.2 is already a decimal. And 12 and 1/4 is 12.25. So we get 37.55 pounds. 37.55 pounds. And just to make sure you got that, you can see here I just converted 4 and 4 fifths to the 4.8 and 12 and 1/4 to 12.25. So when I add these up right here, I just need to, this adds up to a 15. I got to carry this 1. And so I got 3, 4, plus 4 more is 8. 8 plus 7 is 15. 16, 17. I'm going to carry this 1, 1, 2, 3, and that's where I get the 37.55. And you can see my answer lines up. So I'm good to go. So on this page, we went through a handful of problems where once you find the first calculation, you actually got to subtract it away and then keep going. And sometimes, just kind of like on page 7, you just need to convert everything to percentages and add them up. And you can see then, like here again, 15% was in pre-algebra plus the 60%. That's where I got 75% already in a class. So then the leftover 25% were in Math 7. And again, I just did 0.25 times 540 to figure out how many kids that is, and that's 135. Okay? The last one was a lot like number 10, where you're just converting and adding. Okay? And that concludes this video. Thank you for watching.